Timeless charm with the very best in the game today. Visit pinehurst.com to plan your stay.
This is Sirius XM Patriots, channel 125. All right, when we come back, we'll get Bill O'Reilly's take, all things simple man, self-proclaimed, on the radicalization of the Democratic base. This is a different midterm than we've ever seen before. What does that mean for November? It's the most important midterm in your lifetime, I'm telling you. Also, Steve Robertson of the Maine Wire, who knows more about Plattner than anyone else. Laurel Libby, a state rep from there. And your calls, 800-941-SEAN, as we continue.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car.
What's up, buddy?
Or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575.
Just getting out of here in time for my meeting.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous
Northwood.
programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes.
As long as I don't get into too much traffic, I should be okay.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be
I got to come back tomorrow, though. Something wasn't right with the cameras, so I got to make an adjustment there. But internet's going good. Wi-Fi's all set up on the first floor, and that's all they're using right now.
You know, this is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about, but if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention trust and will. Trust and will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds.
Yeah, my meeting's at 6, so it says an hour and 55 minutes to get there. So actually, I'm gonna cut this way.
Surprisingly straightforward.
Oh no, fuck it. This intersection sucked last time, though. Let's see. This is too short on the left-hand turn, but if there's nobody in front of me, I'll be able to hit it.
That's trustandwill.com/patriot for 20% off. Trustandwill.com.
There we go. Hey, someone. I'm in Indiana right now.
Celebrating America 250. Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The White House today touting a major investment in Homeland Security and law enforcement. President Trump is discussing a newly signed $70 billion Homeland Security package.
So the bill provides crucial funding for domestic law enforcement investigations and combating child exploitation, continuing our work to restore law and order across our nation and to protect America's youth. We're so proud.
Willie Nelson, the White House. And the president also took time at the White House today to criticize Democrat Graham Plattner, who clinched Maine's Democrat Senate nomination in this week's primary.
He's worse than any human being that's ever run for office, probably. I don't know. I don't want to say bad, but I just don't think nobody's ever had a record like that. And you'll have children who gets crazy over this or that, or Epstein. This guy. Why are they talking about him? We said, well, we don't know. And this guy's got a rap sheet. I've never seen anything like it. He's a thug. I know thugs. I had to deal with thugs.
Plattner's faced new scrutiny over his personal history, but his Democrat primary victory sets a high-stakes race to try and unseat incumbent Republican Susan Collins. Republicans and Democrats square off tonight for the annual congressional baseball game. Led by Roger Williams of Texas, the Republicans will feature a largely unchanged roster from last summer's team and are aiming to continue their dominance over Democrats that stretches to the years before the coronavirus pandemic. Democrat team manager Linda Sanchez of California acknowledged that her party has its work cut out again in 2026 and is looking to stop a losing skid now in danger of stretching the length of an entire Senate term. Lawmakers from both parties say the game at Nationals Park has become one of the biggest nights of the year for lawmakers, lobbyists, and Capitol Hill staff. Bernie Bennett, Washington. More of these stories at townhall.com. Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone on them. If you're a 50-year-old man and you're 40 and may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes or overweight or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com. Honda has issued a new recall for 880,000 vehicles with serious rear suspension problems.
The recall covers some 2016 to 2022 Honda Pilots, 2017 to 2023 Ridgelines, 2019 to 2023 Passports, and 2014 to 2020 Acura MDX vehicles. Honda and Acura dealers will inspect the rear subframe and install a reinforcement kit for repair.
Man.
The rear subframe components at no cost to vehicle owners. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Rising gas prices push inflation to its highest level in 3 years last month. That's a problem for the Federal Reserve and a potential political challenge for the Trump administration heading to the midterm elections. New data showed that consumer prices rose by 4.2% in May. Breaking news and analysis at Town Hall. Wesley Financial Group is home owner.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of the Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today. We'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-475-1818. That's 800-475-1818. Fed up with stubborn earwax? Get Wax RX from Dr. Easy. Dr. Easy professional ear washers have been used over.
Yeah, it'll do that sometimes when you have multiple streams in the same day.
Results at home with Wax RX, the personal ear wash system.
Too many doctors. I get that too.
Wax RX flushes away stubborn earwax without a trip to the doctor. Don't be fooled by store brands and cheap knockoffs. Pull into Walmart or Shoppers Drug Mart right now and get the original doctor embedded.
I spent the last 2 weeks before this week dealing with doctor stuff.
Insurance is an asset you can sell.
Don't like it.
CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies for seniors just like you. And at abacuspace.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. You get real value for your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspace.com. Mike Campbell here, Patriot Software's founder. I started my entrepreneurial.
That just blows me away how often they want to inspect that place.
16, I had worked.
That just blows me away. I get it. I mean, it's accountability and stuff. As long as they're doing the same thing for everybody.
We're making home runs. I was making money. That's when I learned about capitalism and free enterprise. My fifth successful business, Patriot Software, helps
Seems like they're just
build their businesses and keep
giving reasons to be nosy.
Accounting and payroll, go to patriotsoftware.com. The Democrats in D.C. who say language like apologize or unhelpful for the political health of the Democratic Party. I think if we've listened to them before and look where we are.
By the way, elections would last 2 months. They would be publicly funded. And if a billionaire looked at a TV ad the wrong way, we'd put him in jail.
He's up.
He's been shot at. He's a veteran, right? He's still a bit weird. Freedom is back in style. Welcome to the revolution. Welcome to your city. More behind-the-scenes information on breaking news and more bold, inspired solutions for America.
Pat Riley. I always play this. Pat Riley's coming up.
Man, that can only mean one thing on this radio program, and that is all things self-proclaimed simple man. That means all things Bill O'Reilly, all things Bill O'Reilly at BillO'Reilly.com. You know, I thought I was in O'Reilly's inner circle. I thought we years at Fox, it was somewhat a contentious relationship, but it was all his fault. And, now we've become friends. And Bill O'Reilly, for decades, apparently has this guy's trip. And he's never invited me. And he went to Ireland last week. And I guess maybe I just, I assumed something I shouldn't have assumed, and that we were friends, and I didn't get the invite. It got lost in the mail. What happened?
Well, you're such a big star that, I'd have to have people, what would you like for breakfast, Mr. Hannity?
Bill, you have been around me. And every time we go to breakfast, I have paid for breakfast because I want to beat you to the check and let you know that I have respect for you, and I like to do that all the time anyway. And we've had good conversations.
I might even eat while we're meeting. It's that Mexican place.
All fun. And I just don't make the cut. What's the reason?
Well, it's just intimidation. All of those guys.
You're so full of it.
Oh my God. And look, the cell phone, how many cell phone pictures will you have to pose for? I mean, like 300. We'll be in Killarney and you'll still be up in Dublin. Lines to get your cell phone picture. So anyway, you'll be invited the next time around, that's for sure. And my guys are mad at me because they heard you on the radio and they go, what do you do? Why do you invite Annie? I give many, many reasons. But no, you'll be invited next time.
No, I'm glad you had a good trip. I honestly wouldn't have been able to make it anyway. You know my schedule. It's insane. I get older, I work more, and I love it. I don't know what it is, Bill. It's in our DNA. We both love what we do. We both feel blessed to do what we do. All right, let me get you focused here. And primary day and Graham Plattner and all the coverage obviously associated with this lunatic. I can run through the litany. I've done it a lot for this audience. You know, a guy that calls the people in his own state racist and bigoted and dumb. A guy that, attacks women that were victims of rape. A guy that has a Nazi tattoo. A guy that thinks all cops are bastards. And this is now the modern Democratic Party. And he won with, 8% of the vote last night. And then you got, cisgender Tellerico, welcome Matt at the border. God is non-binary. No problem men playing women's sports. Vegan campaign in the state of Texas. He's running there. Then you've got your buddy Mamdani in your state of New York, in the city of New York. Then you've got AOC in the squad. Then you've got Pocahontas and Bernie Sanders, and the radicals have taken over. And here's the more interesting part I want you to comment on. Chuck Schumer, who's minority leader in name only, Hakeem Jeffries, no Democratic leader will dare speak out against the radicalism in their party. There are some today that are arguing this is great for the Democratic Party.
It's going to put you out of business for a minute.
Of Donald Trump, which I think is so obscene, is barely worth a mention. However, how do you analyze this going into the midterms?
That's the Democratic Party, no doubt about it. And you left out one thing. that the New York State Legislature is now a law banning the words mom and dad in any state correspondence. So all of this, if you are an independent voter, if you are somebody who really pays attention, you go, this is radioactive here. And it's going to get worse, not better, because these people aren't in it for dialogue. They're not going to be convinced. They're fanatics. They don't like their country. They want a different country. They don't like mom or dad. You know what they're replacing mom and dad with? Gestation. I can't wait to get the first.
I did a whole segment on this program. I mean, Bill, this is nuts. I mean, these people are certifiable.
So it hurts the Democratic Party, but the country now is swinging into self-absorption. And the reason that this nut won in Maine is they didn't have anybody running against him, number one. The opponent, the former governor, dropped out. And then there are enough people who are angry about their personal circumstances. They're going to throw out all the incumbents. I don't vote for anybody like Karen Bass in L.A. I don't care how she's, wrecked the city. I'm just mad, so I'm going to vote for the opposition. A lot of that going around. It's self-destructive. There's no doubt. I mean, the main thing for me is if you are against ICE, and they just passed it, as you know, last night, funding for ICE. Well, was in London doing a special. All right, they don't have any ICE. Okay, they don't have anybody tracking down criminals. And now they're on the verge of a violent clash between the far left and, let's say, the people who don't want anarchy. In Belfast last night, they were out on the street, both sides, because a Sudanese immigrant tried to behead somebody on the street. Now, will that happen here? Probably not, because we have better controls. But when you don't have any controls, like in the UK, none, this is what you're gonna get.
Let me ask you. We did touch on it last week when you were in Europe, and there's a poll out today, interestingly, that shows only 11% of Europeans now view the U.S. as an ally. Well, I'm sorry, I don't know anybody in the U.S. that feels that Europe has moral clarity anymore. And it has been a declining continent for the following reasons. They have embraced, first of all, they've neglected their national security and defense dramatically over decades. They are not militarily prepared if they are to be attacked. One. Two, radical climate alarmism, radical socialism now for decades. They have adopted it. Number three, I believe that unfettered illegal immigration without assimilation, resulting in Sharia courts in Great Britain, no-go zones in other parts of Europe, including France, they are very real, Bill. And if people are not assimilating and they want to change the society, which they're
Why is this guy hitting his fucking brakes?
part of it, that is going to be a long-term massive
fucking woman.
Am I right or wrong? What say you?
We looked at one thing. They don't like Trump. Rank and file Europeans don't like Trump. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, you think our press is irresponsible? Sure.
That's cool.
I can't even.
I've been in a quite often.
I'll put the window down in a minute. I'm tripping my nails.
I can't get BillO'Reilly.com up and running in most European countries because they want $250,000 for defamation insurance, not just on me, but on any independent journalist. You got to pay them $1 million a year because they don't want outside voices. They want a left-wing point of view. So this is all the Europeans here. The second point is that President Trump's a big fella close. Now, we in America know that. We follow him, and we know that he's a mess in Canada. He's accepted it. Yeah. And so it becomes personal, just like the vote for the Democratic Party becomes personal. There's no rationality to it. And forget about history, forget about Iran, forget about all that. Europeans are self-absorbed, generally speaking. Ireland's an exception because they're not part of this Columbus.
By the way, are you eligible for dual citizenship in Ireland? I am. My mother had dual citizenship.
I'm not because my people came over in 1868, so it's not far back.
When did the potato famine begin? Around then, right?
Yeah, I mean, I might be able to get it, but probably not. But Sweden, which was once the most socialistic country, they have gone 180 degrees away from
Right.
that.
That's better.
They're one of the few European countries that aren't buying into this self-destruction that unfettered migration, socialism brings. It brings anarchy. Look, when you're the guy and
You have 24. This is 469. It becomes 24 though.
right? A guy
In about 16 miles.
He didn't. The Sudanese guy didn't actually get there, but he was trying. I mean, you know, all control has been lost. When I was on Edgware Road, which is they call it Little Beirut in London, and I lived in London for a year when I was in college. When I was on Edgware Road, those people did not want me there, Hattie. I had two big pretty guys. We got in and out of there as fast as we could, and there was not one police officer in any place that we went in the Muslim neighborhoods. Not one.
You know what shocked me? We were doing coverage, and it's something Trump related. And Linda, maybe you remember this particular trip, and if you do, remind me. That's when we had to do the hotel switcheroo, and you were losing your mind because you were insistent that
That was the first. That was the first Russia summit. We were in Trafalgar Square in London.
Okay, so we go there, Bill. I'm figuring, let's take some TV cameras. I'll go amongst the people. There's an anti-Trump rally. They have no idea who the hell Sean Hannity is. Well, that was maybe one of the biggest miscalculations in my life. I show up with a camera. Bill, everybody in that crowd knew me, and a mob literally surrounded me within 2 minutes wanting to kill me. And the bobbies over there with no guns couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, the prevailing wisdom on the part of the British government is let them do what they want to do. That's it. And that's the tension in the United States. Because all of these people who object to funding, not one Democrat voted to fund Homeland Security. Not one. And that,
Unbelievable. And by the way, thank God they got that funded.
right. And that tells you that the Democratic Party wants open borders. They want this to happen. 23 gang members, foreign gang members, all illegal, were arrested in Massachusetts yesterday. 23 on a variety of crimes. And Massachusetts, do you think those people want those gang members supported? They don't. And when people ask me to explain it, I can't explain it because it's self-destructive behavior.
Quick break, right back. More things with all things self-proclaimed simple man, Bill O'Reilly.
She's a hell of a cook.
O'Reilly.com. Then your call's coming up, 800-941-SEAN, if you want to be a part of the program as we roll along this Wednesday. America listens to Sean Hannity, and he's on right now.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. Brian was a planner. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. Brian and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. When I realized the policy was there, I felt relief. Life insurance helped me focus on healing. I could really focus on my kids and myself and trying to pick up a lot of the pieces of a world that was very broken at the time. He really provided for our family in life and also after his death. So I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same day coverage. You can get up to $3 million worth of coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/apply. That's ethos.com/apply. Ethos.com/apply. Big testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Brendan, what's in your freezer right now? Honestly, steaks from Snake River Farms. Always. It's become the beef we reach for. On weeknights, the weekend, doesn't matter. It's insanely good. Same. Snake River Farms has been doing this for over 5 decades. And unlike others, they oversee the entire process from ranch to table. That's how they get perfection in every step. This is exactly why Snake River Farms is the only one I trust. SnakeRiverFarms.com. Use code GOLF10 and give it a try. Second opinions. You get them with your health. So why not with your wealth? Your stock market investments deserve a second opinion. At Henry & Walsh, it only takes a second. To schedule your free second opinion, call 800-279-5279. Henry & Walsh, the second opinion people. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services provided by Henry & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Henry & Walsh Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. This is going to sound strange. You're not yourself. It's not just stress. It's not even just in your head. There's a physical reason you feel stuck. And we're seeing the same patterns in dogs, even horses, because this isn't about your thoughts. It's about your nervous system. I'm Mark Fox. I'm the Space Shuttle Chief Engineer. You're not broken. That's why I wrote Go Find Joy. It became an Amazon bestseller in 3 different categories. Get it free at gofindjoy.com. Here's the deal. The tax code is famously complicated, so it's easy to see why so many people fall into debt with the IRS every year. Now they're stuck dealing with the most powerful collection agency in the world on their own. The IRS can garnish your wages, seize your bank account, even take your home or business. Scared, worried, overwhelmed? That's where we come in. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We've resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our licensed award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day. We protect our clients and prepare them for the best possible resolution. And guess what? We love doing this. We're real people who enjoy helping other people when they need us most. Give us a call. Call 800-613-8836. 800-613-8836. 800-613-8836. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
And stay away from all the processed stuff anymore.
If you need cash for bills, car repairs, rent, a vacation, or anything else, type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. WeFixMoney.com is free to use, available 24/7, and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Millions of Americans have trusted WeFixMoney.com. Go to the site that you can trust. WeFixMoney.com. That's WeFixMoney.com. When an earache strikes, you need relief fast. Introducing Earache RX pain relieving eardrops from Dr. Easy, the makers of Wax RX. With 4% lidocaine, Earache RX eardrops have real medicine. The maximum strength available without a prescription. Strong enough for adults, yet gentle enough for kids. Earache RX eardrops are perfect for the discomfort from swimmers' ear too. Get fast relief that starts working on contact. Don't wait for an earache to strike. Get the power of real medicine. Get Earache RX at Walgreens today.
Continue with all things Simple Matt Bill O'Reilly, all things O'Reilly at BillO'Reilly.com. All right, let me go back. I want to refocus you on how these midterms are shaping up. Now, I do have some statistics to throw at you. First of all, we have the racial gerrymandering decision, which I think is crucial heading into the midterms, helping Republicans. That's number one. Number two, I think very, very important, the Abigail Spanberger power grab, that didn't play out well at all for anybody. So I think that is key. Now, here's some information I know you don't have, and I have to do it quick. Republicans are now favored to win the House according to the latest numbers that have come out. GOP gained 229,000 voters relative to Democrats since 24. Dems lost 275 voters across 28 swing districts since November of 24. I think this, with the radicalism we're discussing, I think their odds are diminishing. And this is not a typical election year, but I'm only giving you 30 seconds to wrap up.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you want to stay over, I mean, we love holding you over.
All right.
Because, I mean, you're so popular. You want to analyze this election? And I'll go over it in more detail. We don't have to rush it.
Okay, we can do that.
All right, Mr. O'Reilly. I'll buy breakfast next time I see you. And I know you'd be very intimidated, and your friends would be intimidated if they saw me. That's so silly. I'm the easiest going guy they'll ever meet. You know that. Listen, it's no secret. Checkout line feels a lot heavier for a lot of people. I hate when I hear about families that, are struggling in any way financially. I've lived paycheck to paycheck in my life. It's the worst feeling in the world. A lot of years of my life. And it's troubling when you're paying 21, 25% interest rate. You will never get out from underneath that debt spiral, and it is a debt spiral. Now, this is where our friends at AmericanFinancing.net come in, and you're thinking, well, if I refinance, I'm going to lose my 3%, 3.5%, 4%, 30-year fixed rate mortgage. No, you will not. They have come up with an ingenious idea. It's called the Smart Equity Loan. It's genius. Anyway, it allows you to wipe out high interest credit card debt. They're saving the average customer over $800 a month. That's real money in your pocket. And that could be the difference between balancing the budget and not balancing it every single month. And you'll have one low monthly fee, and you keep your current mortgage free, no pressure, no obligation consultation. 615-9200, 866-615-9200, or check them out on the web. It's AmericanFinancing.net/Hannity today.
NMLS 18233 NMLS Consumer Access Network. APR for rates on 5 star at 6.327% for well-qualified borrowers. Call 866-615-9200 for details about credit costs and terms, or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Hannity. Average savings based on borrowers received $199.99.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-294-3311. 800-294-3311.
Hi, it's Christopher Kabbalah, founder of Untucked. 15 years, 15 million shirts sold, and we're still the best in the game. Which means Untucked also has the best gifts for Father's Day, now on sale. The love to unwrap wrinkle-free cotton to save in time in the morning, performance stretch styles you never has to iron, polos for golf and more, all perfect for the summer. Shop our Father's Day sale going on now at untuckit.com, or at one of our 80+ stores nationwide. Untuckit, shirts designed for Untucked is so different. Talking about Medishare as a way for paying for healthcare. Here, Ryan is a husband and father who got some cool news of blood cancer, and thankfully his family of Medishare members, they found out just how much Medishare is on their side. And it's not okay when you're sick, they need that version of support. They need something to, help with it. They have financials.
Now we're on 24.
You can't do stuff you got cancer. You need family, friends, Medishare, who you need. Imagine having an advocate and there's people walking you through this, helping you with your medical bills. It makes all the difference. You can save tremendous amounts of money, of course, with Medicare, but more than that,
Robots just ignoring that one.
with helping you, advocating for you, praying for you. Find out more. Be part of this. Here's the number: 844-57.
I don't think we've hit our limit for the month.
57.
We started.
844-57. This is Kate Corley, former Navy SEAL, sniper, and platoon commander. I've seen what happens when the lights go out, and after Hurricane Helene left 4 million Americans in the darker days. I'm giving you the same advice I did my own family.
This fucking idiot.
Backup power now. So to
Not letting me merge.
Get the best-selling Patriot Power Generator, 2200X with a free mini generator to charge your smaller devices. That's double the solar power, absolutely free. Because as a SEAL, I learned 2 is 1 and 1 is none. You'll recharge twice as fast for true power independence. This generator will run your fridge, charge every phone in your house, keep
5711. Woo.
all without dropping gas or deadly fumes. Get $100 off if you're a senior or veteran like me, and take a full year to pay.
Decent spacing on them, though.
Such a crazy deal, because July 4th is our holiday, and you deserve it. This sale ends July 7th. Go to 4patriots.com. That's the number 4, patriots.com. Don't wait. Get peace of mind. Did you know more than 70% of 401k participants are still invested the same way they were the day they enrolled? Think about that. Most people don't neglect their 401k because they don't care. They neglect it because they don't know what they need to do. They contribute, they occasionally open a statement, and they hope that's enough. The truth is, your 401k is one of the most powerful wealth-building tools you'll ever own. But you were handed this incredible opportunity without any direction. Hi, I'm Brad Ball, founder of Bison.
Be one of the main highways for the interstates. So it's still connected to a lot of towns. You know, it wasn't always a divided highway like this. It pretty much expanded to the size of a interstate somewhat. Bison Wealth is an SEC registered investment advisor. 3% power based on AM US stock. See PowerMyForum1K.com for more information. What's in your freezer right now? Honestly, steaks from Snake River Farms. Always. It's become the beef you reach for. On weeknights, the weekend doesn't matter. It's insanely good. Same. Snake River Farms has been doing this for over 5 decades. And unlike others, they oversee the entire process from ranch to table. That's how they get perfection at every step. This is exactly why Snake River Farms is the only one I trust. SnakeRiverFarms.com. Use code GOLF10 and give it a try. Is the person who manages your Google ads the best? Here's who Google thinks is the best. Google thinks it's Search Kings. Of more than 10,000 Google agencies in the U.S., it is one company, Search Kings, that is the winner of the Google Ads Impact Award. 66.
Google partner with the most impactful Google advertising results. You want to stand out where your customers are online? Switch to Search Kings. This is SiriusXM Patriots Channel 125.
Come on.
Foundation for conservative victory. Now back to the Sean Hannity Show. 9:25 till the top of the hour. 800-941-SEAN. You want to be a part of the program? We'll continue with Bill O'Reilly. All things simple man, self-proclaimed in a minute. Our friends at Sig Sauer, they're celebrating 250 years of freedom with an exciting summer promotion. When you buy any new P365 pistol, you will get a free Sig Sauer everyday carry flashlight. One of the very best everyday carry flashlights you can buy. I carry one every day. And right now, when you buy the #1 concealed carry pistol in the country, the one I carry every day, you get one for free. Now, summertime is upon us. Most people outdoors, that increases the chances that, God forbid that moment comes and someone wants to bring harm to you and your family and kill you and your family. You'll have the ability to defend yourself. I wish the world were different. It's not. Sig Sauer, all of them proudly made right here in America in the Live Free or Die state of New Hampshire. They have over a third of their employees now former law enforcement and veterans. They are a proud partner to our military. SIG Sauer is the official sidearm of all branches of the military. I've got a number of SIG Sauers. I got the M17, the P365, the M17 carried by our brave men and women defending freedom around the world. It's also carried by NATO troops. And remember, the P365, #1 concealed carry pistol in the country. And we are a SIG Sauer family. Sweet baby James, he has several. I have several. Linda owns this bizarre one that I've never seen. It's this P365 Rose Special Edition. Anyway, check it out online. Go to SIGSauer.com today, and you can get any new P365. When you get it, you'll get a free SIG Sauer everyday carry flashlight. Just go to SIGSauer.com today for details. It's a limited time. All right, we're talking to Bill O'Reilly. All things self-proclaimed simple man. He's agreed to stick around a little bit longer, and I think it's important. So, with the emergence of what we saw in Maine last night and this lunatic Grand Platinum, and we've gone over his record repeatedly, I won't echo it here. And then, cisgender, God is non-binary Tellerico, and all the craziness with him. And now it's the party of Grandpa Bernie, Pocahontas. Bernie's endorsement is more important than any other Democrat. And he's got a very good track record this primary season. And, Ro Khanna, they're all supporting Grand Platinum. And then you've got Mom Donnie in New York. New York might be unique in some ways, but you've got to pay attention. The most radical elected official in the country. You've got El Sayed running in Michigan in the Senate race there. Then AOC in the squad. And you've got all the rising anti-Semitism.
It's always good to hear.
Leadership, or leaders in name only, will never take on the radicalism, no matter how bad, even if it's a Nazi tattoo. A party that's closing argument in the 2024 election is Donald Trump is a Nazi, fascist, racist Gestapo. Now doesn't have a problem running a guy. They're proudly getting behind a guy with a Nazi tattoo on him for 20 years, and the most baggage I've ever seen in any candidate in my life. Now, I'm asking Bill O'Reilly if this strategy is going to work through the prism of a new study that came out. The GOP since 24 have gained 229,000 voters relative to Democrats. Democrats have lost a whopping 275,000 voters across 28 swing states. Add to that the racial gerrymandering decision at the Supreme Court. Add to that Abigail Spanberger's power grab didn't work. Bill O'Reilly, what say you analyze this election year compared to historic midterm election years, which usually goes against the party in power?
I have a different take on it. If I'm running the Republican Party, I'm not going on defense at all. I'm going to basically say, look, we're going to continue our policies that work and then list the policies that work. You start with the immigration, the border, that kind of thing. But I do believe that President Trump has got to help the Republican Party and wrap this Iran thing up. Now, the word is that there's going to be military action soon, could be during your television show tonight, against the Mullahs. But the president has said this many times before and has not carried through. This time he has to. He has to. And once that is established, that the Mullahs are not calling the shots anymore, then you'll start to see the American people re-engage, and inflation, which is 4% today, will come really down. Oil prices will come down, food will come down, everything will come down pretty fast once this Iran situation is pacified to some degree. It's going to take pain to do it. Pain on the Iranians mostly, but we're going to have to do it. The second thing is that the president himself has got to try and explain some of the policies that he is putting forth in a little bit more direct way, that this is how it helps you. happens is how it helps you because we're doing this. And it gets to be easy. We're funding ICE. And it helps you because we're taking gang members off the street like they did yesterday in Massachusetts. And Massachusetts doesn't want to take gang members off the street. Are you going to vote for a party like that? You got to keep the message simple, taut, but you
got to keep it pithy, Bill. Use the right word.
Yeah, you got to keep it pithy. I got a shirt. I'll send it to you. Keep it.
Oh my God. Is there anything you didn't turn into merchandise in your career? Is there anything you had no spin zone mats for people's homes? That cracked me up.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't think that at this juncture in June or early June anybody can call this midterm. But I do believe that the Republican Party has to be more assertive here and not just blasting the Democrats, but saying, here's what we're going to continue to do for you. Wake up. Okay? Wake up. You don't want these people in charge. I wish everybody could go to LA and San Francisco and you see the condition of those cities. It is absolutely a disgrace, both of them.
Well, I will tell you, I think this is, look, historical trends are what they are. The party in power historically will lose seats in the House and Senate. I don't think this is your typical election year because this is not the Democratic Party of old. We've been at this for too many decades to not know this is so radicalized, this party. Now, the only thing is there enough? People seem to forget, Bill, that the people that are voting in these primaries, the ones that are supporting Graham Plattner and El Sayed and Tellerico and Mamdani and AOC, well, more in the Senate races. They are hardcore, radicalized Democrats that tend to show up during primary voting season. Just like you have, more conservatives will show up, the base will show up more for primaries for Republicans. And so is this reflective of Democrats nationwide? Are they going to embrace this? That's where I think my every brain cell I have tells me it doesn't make sense that they would.
That's where you live. So
what about Maine? What about Texas? What about Michigan?
Well, Texas and Michigan's too hard. Texas will stay Republican.
Oh, but you got El Sayed. He's out there campaigning with Hassan Piker, who said we deserve 9/11, Bill.
Yeah, but that's Michigan.
And it's Michigan, but do you think the people of Michigan, short of maybe a pocket of radicals that live there, are they going to support that?
I don't know. It's a big union thing in Michigan. And the union, these bosses come in and they say, this is what you're going to do. And a lot of people do it. But the overall thing that you're putting forth is that the majority of the American voters do not want this radical socialism. And that is true. But the stronger your alternative is to that, the more chance you have to win.
All right, I think we got it. Mr. O'Reilly,
I'm all right.
Appreciate
a little tired.
Didn't
get much sleep last night.
Glad you had a good trip, even though you
listening.
My feelings are not hurt. I'm not taking it personally.
Trying to find an AC unit to send my son.
You don't give a flying rip. Let's be honest.
For his apartment with his.
Appreciate you on the program. I know this is the
lady
happiest
and
time of the week for you.
My grandson. She's pregnant again, so.
Because nobody knows how to handle you but me, to be very honest. I watch you do these debates with people, and I'm like, will you let the guy talk and just shut up? The guy has something to say. Ask him a question, let him answer, and then challenge the answer. Am I wrong about that? I'm not.
We've been successful with the way I do stuff. That's all I can tell you.
All right. All things simple, man. Bill O'Reilly, BillO'Reilly.com. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right, quick break. We'll come right back. We'll hit the phones toll free. It's 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program as we continue.
No reason to be worried. As a whole, we're doing okay.
So when I ask, what is Odoo? What comes to mind? Well, Odoo is a
Bye.
What'd you say?
I said bye.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Love you.
Hop in the chat.
All right.
All right, love you.
Love you. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building.
You guys are good people.
I mean, whatever your business needs,
Both of you.
HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So, what is Odoo? Well, I guess Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is fertilizer magic beanstalk building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it. Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up.
She's coming into chat, she said, so
That's ODO.
I did tell her you said hi. You would have said hi. So.
Asset you can sell. I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of inDOCtriNATIONlive. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees, no obligations. You get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Oh, she's over on Rumble.
Is the person who manages your Google Ads the best? Here's who Google thinks is the best. Google thinks it's Search Kings. Of more than 10,000 Google agencies in the United States and Canada eligible for the honor.
I seen a bit,
Is
someone.
one company, Search Kings, that and is the winner of the Google Ads Impact Award. Give it to the Google partner with the most impactful Google advertising results. You want to stand out where your customers are online? Switch to Search Kings. Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-1212. That's 800-885-1212. Again, that's 800-885-1212. Business owners, have you ever stopped to consider what your life's work might be worth? Most owners spend decades building a business. They sacrifice weekends, miss family events, worry about payroll, navigate economic cycles, and carry risks.
You're no bother, Exy.
Understand. Then one day they realize the company they've spent a lifetime building may be worth far more than they ever imagined. Depending on your industry, your company could be worth tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of dollars. Yet many owners continue taking the same risks they've taken for years because they've never explored what a sale could mean for and their options. Whether you want to sell your entire company, sell a majority interest, or simply understand what your business may be worth, we're here to help. Call Carnegie Point today for a confidential valuation and financial analysis at 800.
Eric, how are you? Glad you called.
Hi. Thank you very much for taking the call.
Well, what a very warm welcome. You have a warmth to your voice that is far more engaging than Bill's. Go ahead.
I'm calling because I live in Nevada, and I just want to say that I am a supporter of Lindsey Graham all the way over here in Nevada, because once upon a time, I was sort of apolitical about 10 years ago or so, and I was wondering if he was the real deal. I happened to pick up a phone number, a local office, called it, and he comes to the phone for his constituents. He asked if I was a constituent, and I was honored that he asked that I was a resident of South Carolina, and I actually never even visited that great state. But I'm impressed by him, and I believe in him, and I'm all the way over here in Nevada, nobody, and just wanted to say I think South Carolina did right last night.
I'm going to tell you what happened behind the scenes. I talked to President Trump in the days leading up to the primary yesterday with Lindsey, and most people don't know. I mean, I know some conservatives I've gotten. The president, he is the closest he is to any one senator is Senator Lindsey Graham. They are best friends. They play golf all the time. I know that as a fact. It is not speculation on my part. And the president saw that they were attacking him with his own words from 2015, and he was very unhappy about it. And I spoke to the president 3 days in a row about how important it was to him.
Another flock camera.
To him, not me, to him. And I'm friends with Lindsey Graham. It was important to me, I should say that. that he win this primary with 50% plus one. There was a couple of polls out that showed that he might be a little dipping below 50. And the president literally said to me, "You're going to give him airtime. You're going to support him, right?" I said, "Yes, sir."
Later, someone.
And that
I
was
hope
it.
it works
That's
out.
what the president wanted. I think he deserves the Senate.
It's not working.
He wants.
Let me log
Bill
in and check
Cassidy,
it.
you want Bill Cassidy. You want John Cornyn. I don't have to work with those people every day. He does. And so he's making the decisions. This is his call, way over my call. And I do think Lindsey has had some of the more amazing viral moments of any senator out there. And he doesn't get credit for it when people get mad at, maybe his foreign policy positions or whatever it happens to be. He's great at constituent services, better than probably any senator in the U.S. Senate. He is the most loyal to Donald Trump. He is one of his best friends, I can tell you as a fact. The one big beautiful bill doesn't happen without Lindsey. Kavanaugh doesn't happen without Lindsey. If there's an impeachment out of the House and after the midterms, it'll go to Lindsey's committee and it'll die there if we have a majority.
What?
So that's why the president wants him there, and he wants him there for judges. And you know what? I think the president deserves it. I get that some people don't like the position of everybody. When he's great, there's nobody better.
That's weird.
And I think that you have to see the totality of every candidate and look at their individual states. But he won hands down last night. It wasn't even a close. I mean, he had like 7 challengers, won 58% of the vote. Anyway, 800-941-SHAW. Appreciate the call, Mary. I want to tell you something. It's sad. If you want to open a business, you find out before you can open your business what you have to do to open your business, and that means get this insurance and that insurance, and that means dealing with multiple agents, and then you sign up. Probably won't even hear from the broker that you used until it's time for renewal. You run your business all year long, and it becomes a nightmare. It's worse than dealing with the healthcare system. It's so burdensome and bureaucratic. It no longer is going to be that way, thanks to the people that I'm going to tell you about. Supersure.com. And I spent hours with these people, and they have designed their own AI software program where they will upfront for free, no obligation, no pressure at all. They'll take every single policy you have, run it through their AI software that they designed. It's the next generation of insurance. And how many times have you ever gotten an insurance policy and actually took the time to read it? I never have. I'll be blunt. I should, but I don't. And if I tried to read it, I probably wouldn't understand it. Try it. Good luck. They will print out. They'll put it through their AI software, and in plain language, it'll come out what's covered, what's not covered.
Usually,
what you need for your unique individual.
Always logged into it from my phone.
And then they can handle all of your insurance.
But the interface looks different too.
Likely at a price point that you're
not at the right age.
It's really, you will be dazzled by this new technology. How many times have you met someone, they make a claim to an insurance company? Oh, sorry, that's not covered. My agent never told me that. I thought I was covered. Nope, you're not. It happens to everybody. It's unbelievable how often that's happened to people I know in my life. Go to supersure.com/Hannity. Supersure.com/Hannity. Get dazzled upfront for free, no obligation.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
This is Kate Courtley, former Navy SEAL, sniper, and platoon commander. I've seen what happens when the lights go out, and after Hurricane Helene left 4 million Americans in the dark for days, I'm giving you the same advice I give my own family. Get backup power now. So to celebrate July 4th, get the best-selling Patriot Power Generator, 2200X with a free mini generator to charge your smaller devices. That's double the solar power, absolutely free. Because as a SEAL, I learned 2 is 1 and 1 is none. You'll recharge twice as fast for true power independence. This generator will run your fridge, charge every phone in your house, keep critical medical devices alive, all without a drop of gas or deadly fumes. Get $100 off if you're a senior or veteran like me and take a full year to pay. Why such a crazy deal? Because July 4th is our holiday and you deserve it. This sale ends July 7th. Go to 4patriots.com. That's the number 4, patriots.com. Don't wait. get peace of mind. You know, this is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about, but if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, it's something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention Trust and Will. Trust and Will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online. And the process is surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your loved ones with Trust and Will, the most trusted name in online estate planning. Go to trustandwill.com/patriot to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com/patriot for 20% off. Trustandwill.com/PATRIOT. And under our leadership, the forgotten men and women will be forgotten no longer. With your help, your love, and your vote, we will put America first, and we will make America great again. Freedom never gets old. Celebrating America 250, Sirius XM Patriot.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Tensions are rising between the U.S. and Iran.
President Trump says Iran is taking too long to negotiate a deal, and now they will have to pay the price.
We're going to be attacking them very hard.
At the White House, the president wouldn't say if he planned to follow through on threats he made earlier in the war to attack bridges and utility plants in Iran. His message to Iran: stop delaying and sign a deal. In the Senate, Vermont Democrat Peter Welch says there
Looks like it's got a new interface, so I'm going to have to check it out.
The Strait of Hormuz is closed. It's putting incredible pressure on our economy. There's not even negotiations going on.
Yeah, I think it should be there in about,
the president is trying to save face. Ed Donahue,
depending on traffic.
Honda has issued a new recall for 880,000 vehicles with serious rear suspension issues.
The recall covers some 2016 to 2022 Honda Pilots, 2017 to 2023 Ridgelines, 2019 to 2023 Passports, and 2014 to 2020 Acura NDX vehicles. Honda and Acura dealers will inspect the rear subframe and install a reinforcement kit or will repair or replace the rear subframe components at no cost to vehicle owners. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
President Trump's immigration and deportation agenda is getting a nearly $70 billion boost through the end of his term. Trump signed the bill into law in the Oval Office on Wednesday, giving $38 billion to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and $26 billion to the Border Patrol. An additional $5 billion would cover unforeseen costs. A rough day on Wall Street with the Dow plunging 953 points.
That's tremendous news. That means we can go ahead and get started. And for this one, we pulled out a mind map to get back into the swing of organizing our cases. And here is the title for this segment, as you can see right now. So let's get to it. Carmelo Anthony now sentenced 35 years, decided by the jury, handed down by the judge, imposed. He was taken into custody and he'll be going to prison. Now, his defense team has filed a notice of appeal, and we've got a couple of ideas here that will.
What the fuck? Locals just booted me out. That was weird. Let me go to Rumble, I guess.
That the notice of appeal dropped, and these are very short filings. It's just a notice, usually 1 or 2 sentences, saying we're just notifying you that we're going to be appealing this. There'll be a full memorandum that comes down later, but we'll talk about what their possibilities are. So he's now in custody. He's facing 35 years in prison, And in order to explain how the sentence works, it's a little bit complicated there in Texas, a bunch of statutes referring to other codes and other provisions. But remember, he was convicted of murder. It's a first-degree murder charge. We pulled up the law here. Jury instructions explained it. Intentionally or knowingly causing the death of another individual, or is just attempting to cause serious bodily injury and does something that's clearly dangerous that then results in that person's death. And so based on the charge, murder in the first degree, 1902C, the sentence now says that all for 35 years, according to the, he can get out in 17 and a half years. And so there's these other rules in the Code of Criminal Procedure there in Texas that says this article does not apply to somebody who is guilty of an offense like we saw right here, 1902 murder, meaning a judge is limited on the amount of time that they can give somebody for parole and let them out early. Now, if you go back down there and look into this other law, clipped here for us, you see an inmate who is described in subdivision 1, so this is the sentencing limitation, is not eligible for release on parole until the actual calendar time is served, without consideration of good conduct, as long as it equals 1/2 of the sentence or 30 calendar years, whichever is less, but in no event is he eligible for parole in less than 2 calendar years. So 17 and a half is when he may or may not get out, which feels pretty light to me. We'll see ultimately what his defense team can do on appeal or whether they can mitigate this when they go up to probation and ask for parole. But here is how this entire process works. We got a little bit of a flow chart here, and we'll show you this in full screen so we can see what the process looks like when this comes down the pike. So now he has been sentenced. 35-year terms begin. He's got 17 and a half years flat time, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, no good time credit allowed. 6 months before that date comes up, so about 17 years in, he'll be eligible for review, which is pretty quick in the grand scheme of things. So then he'll start the process. The parole department will start getting input. The prosecutor will get an input. Victims here, the family will all provide their input. You know, this is where we are after these 17 years have elapsed. In Texas, there's a board. 2 of 3 are what are needed to decide. So a 3-person panel, they'll make the decision. If the decision is denied, it goes back to the original proceeding. They'll take a look at it again, 5 years down the road, give or take. If he's granted, then he'll be released, go back into supervised release, or if he is denied parole for the entire sentence, he'll max out at the 35 years and then ultimately be released. So that's how the process will work. We'll come back to some of these appellate arguments that we're going to
even 35 is not really a life sentence for 18-year-old, 19-year-old.
We saw that there was a full sentencing proceeding that occurred yesterday. We had only one witness. Carmelo Anthony's mama came in and testified. We didn't hear from dad. We didn't hear from siblings. We didn't hear from friends or other family. But we didn't hear from grandma even. And what's interesting about this is, according to Nick Sorter, you know who he is. He goes out and he does a bunch of reporting on the ground. He said that Carmelo's Anthony, and maybe this is why get called to go and testify on behalf of her grandson, because this may have been the only thing that she would be saying up there on the stand.
That's it. Yeah. It's in the midst. Yeah. We love y'all. It ain't the end of the road. We love y'all.
All right, so not sure how convincing an argument that would have been up during the sentencing phase. Just screaming racist, 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 racist. And apparently there were other non-white people on the jury. Don't know the makeup of the jury, but it wasn't just white people on there. There were Hispanics, my understanding is, maybe some Indian individuals, maybe some Asians. I don't know. but it wasn't all white people. So are they all racist too? Presumably. So that's, I think, why we didn't hear from her or anybody else out there. But that's the scene outside the courthouse as the sentencing occurred last night, and the family hightails it on out of there. Now, today we saw that Jasmine Crockett was out, and her reaction to this, she was on a panel with some other people last night, and the conversation was wild. So she explains, and she's a defense attorney, so maybe one of the dumbest defense attorneys on the planet. She says at one stage that, first of all, the knife was not a deadly weapon at all. They start talking about it here like it is a pocket knife. We already looked at the photograph of the knife. Remember, it's right here, and it looks like a knife, not a Swiss Army knife, not the ones that have the tweezers that come in and out and have a little nail file in there and the scissors. You pull the scissors, pull that up, and click, click, click. It's not that. It looks like a knife. It folds,
Like
you
Jasmine
open it
Crockett
up,
was
it is a
talking
knife.
about.
It looks like a pocket knife, 3.5-inch knife. And listen to this conversation between this defense attorney and her rationale here. Look at her little fingers. Look at her big knife.
Was it a switch? I don't know what he. It was like it seemed like it was a multi-tool, almost like a Swiss Army. Like with the like with the little scissors and everything and whatever. So it was small. Well, I would argue the size of it alone, you wouldn't even think it's a deadly weapon. And that's bad.
Oh, yeah.
If it was
The size
like
means it's not deadly, even though he actually killed somebody with it.
You shouldn't be running your mouth if you don't know what the hell you're talking about, because the trial occurred and they discussed the knife, and there's a photograph of it from the sketch artist who was in the courtroom. But you're going to argue it's just a little knife?
I do. Well, that's why he went to his coach and was like, but I don't think I heard him that off before.
Okay, so it's just a little knife. So it's like just like a little pokey poke. It's interesting. I wonder if she would be okay getting stabbed with just a little knife. It's not going to do anything. It's just a little bit of a poke. Would she be okay with that? If it's so small, would you like it driven into your heart there, Jasmine? I wouldn't. No matter what the size is. So that's part of the conversation that's happening out here. A couple more clips of her, very short, so that we can save our brain cells and IQ points. And here is another argument from her that the Carmelo Anthony family has been aggrieved, that they've lost a son, paying no mind at all to Austin Metcalf's family. Here's what she said, short clip.
Black women, especially black women who have black male children, live in fear and agony every single day.
What?
A fear and agony that I promise you, the Metcalfs probably never spent a day living that way.
What?
And we're going to have just some real conversations about race, this country.
Okay, so the Metcalf family just had their son stabbed in the heart. It wasn't even supposed to be about race until the new race hucksters come out and make it all about race, but their family apparently has had no pain and suffering at all. If you're just a black woman with a black son, the agony, the pain of just existing is so unbearable that apparently it excuses you for stabbing a white kid in the chest. So that's from her. We got one more clip from her, then we'll move on. And again, she doesn't even know what the hell she's talking about. It's wild that they brought her on. And in this case, in this clip, she's describing self-defense, which was not found to have existed with Carmelo Anthony because he came and provoked it. He did not use reasonable force in response to the light touch that was testified that occurred.
If a 300-pound man is beating me, like on top of me and beating me down, I'm not limited to fists.
Yeah, that's right, because you're getting beat down. Somebody's on you, beating you. That did not happen here.
You know, I would argue that even the only time we go into things like people's hands being considered deadly weapons is typically like if they're a professional boxer or that kind of stuff. But I think by the time you start getting to like football player, good argument. Good freaking argument. We're not talking about like golfers. We're talking about football players, right? Like this is what they are trained to do, is to inflict like serious physical contact. And it's my understanding that the deceit was that if...
All right, so she has no idea what she's talking about. So if you're in Texas and you're looking for a defense attorney and you want to go to jail for the rest of your life, hire Jasmine Crockett. She'll take good care of you and make sure that happens. But that's what we're talking about. That was happening last night. We also saw Cardi B was out saying, wow, just freaking wow. It's disgusting. This is not justice. This is trying to make an example.
That's exactly what justice is.
So she's not happy about it. And then there was this other lady, another attorney. I'm not going to play this full clip here because she's just melting down in the car. And it's like a commiseration situation that's happening all night last night. She called this, let me just read this to you. She said, it's an overzealous prosecutor. This is white supremacy. They've shown up to be the pigs that they display with hate. They're celebrating the loss of life and a loss of freedom. Whose life is she talking about? Carmelo Anthony's. She's not talking about Austin Metcalf's life. She called it a slaughterhouse of a courthouse. This is another attorney. And was saying that they ghettoized the community. Propaganda a photo of the deceased with black people around praying. Okay, so black people were standing around in these videos. Of course, we never saw them because the whole trial was under lock and key. But the videos must have been brutal and damning for Carmelo Anthony because the jury was out for 3 hours. That's it. And the sentence came back about an hour and a half later, and they gave him 35 years. They did not buy the passion argument at all. And they said, you're going to jail for most of your life. So she turns around, makes it another defense attorney. I don't know what the hell's going on out there, but says he sees us as free labor. And now Carmelo Anthony has had his life stolen from him. That's what he sees us as slaves. So I'm not surprised this prosecutor who has an unethical background would get up there and ask for the max when he knew this was self-defense. And it wasn't. The jury didn't buy the argument, and the defense's own witnesses said the same thing, that Carmelo was in the wrong verbatim. So all that's going on. Here is how the sentencing went down. This is where we left things off. Prosecutors made their arguments that the sudden passion defense doesn't work for Carmelo Anthony. They said,
that's exactly what happened.
They didn't buy it. Okay,
so exactly what happened.
If it was not self-defense, maybe it was a murder with sudden passion, that would have reduced the penalty dramatically. It would have gone from 5 to 99 down to 2 to 20. And so if they would have found that, 20 years, maybe he gets out in half, in 10. They didn't find that at all. And so here's what happened next. As Carmelo Anthony left the courtroom, he mouthed to his parents, I'm sorry. Jury continues to deliberate. The media saw him say, I'm sorry to his folks on the way out. Jury comes back with a response. Texas law says 5 to 99 or sudden passion 2 to 20. We got back into the courtroom at 7:30 and the jury delivered the sentence to the judge. The judge then hands down the sentence and imposes it upon him because the jury found accordingly. The judge asked Carmelo Anthony, please rise. And his attorney, Mike Howard, put his hand on his shoulder, which is an old defense attorney tactic. You want to kind of humanize your defendant. The judge, John Roach, who we have seen here, if you missed his photograph, this fellow right here, according to the sketch artist, said the following. He read the jury's verdict that Carmelo Anthony did not cause Austin Metcalf's death under, quote, sudden passion, and then sentenced him to 35 years in state prison. He'll have to serve at least half the sentence, as we saw in the law. Then he'll be eligible for parole. He'll have to make his petition to a panel in Texas. They'll vote on it. If they approve it, they'll get victim impact statements. They'll get a bunch of other jail reports, and prosecutor will have a say. His lawyers will have a say. Then they'll make their decision. Moments before the jury delivered their sentence, Carmelo Anthony was in the courtroom with his head down. He appeared to be sobbing. He was being comforted by a female attorney on his defense team. After the sentence is handed down, victims come out and speak. Several people in the gallery are holding pieces of paper or notes, including Austin's brother, Hunter. After the sentence, people come back with their statements. A victim impact statement is an opportunity for the victims and survivors to share the emotional and psychological and financial trauma and impact that they've all suffered from having their loved one brutally stabbed in the heart. Two boys were sitting with Hunter holding papers. Austin and Hunter's father, Jeff, is also holding a black spiral notebook. He's ready to go, and he unleashes coming up. A fourth teen boy and a girl are holding their own sheets of paper. Austin's mother and another woman are holding papers. Don't have all the names. Be there. Now, outside the courthouse, this also happened. Two people were arrested after the bedlam that was happening outside. The first arrest was for public intoxication. So they're getting hammered outside, pounding shots or whatever, falling all over themselves. It's like a giant party out there. Or something. The second arrest was a warrant arrest for unlawful carrying of a weapon. Now, they're still gathering additional details, but we have follow-up to that, so we know who was now arrested. And you remember this fella that we saw yesterday, who was out here trying to communicate something?
Again, this is what I alluded to. This was brought up was bubbling right beneath the surface.
That guy. So he was out bouncing around, trying to communicate, sing me the song of my people, one of those memes. He's bouncing around. This guy in the American flag shirt, man. Wow.
What patience.
He has tremendous, tremendous resolve. But he was the one who got arrested. And here's the story. Alex Sangles shared this one. And he looked this up. He's aspiring to be an attorney. Man, I hope he is. Proud Republican, another. Let's go. We need more good lawyers out there. He said, this is the guy. Jerome Parker Winston. Looks like the same guy to me. He was arrested on an allegation of unlawfully carrying a weapon. Weird, just like Carmelo Anthony was, when he was not allowed to bring a knife to a school. According to the arrest information, he was being held on a local warrant issued by the Collin County Sheriff's Office. The hold reason was listed as a local warrant, and the arresting agency was the Collin County Sheriff's Office. Now, he's a supporter of Carmelo Anthony, and according to statements from Sarah Fields and Sippy, who've been doing amazing work on this, Sarah Fields going into the courtroom reporting, Sippy doing some outside the courtroom reporting and acting as massive support for Sarah as she's inside, Winston allegedly brandished a firearm towards them. Was that self-defense? Was Sarah Fields' ex-posts threatening and intimidating him? Lucky they didn't get close. Maybe he would have stabbed him in the chest and said, how dare you attack me? So anyways, he's been arrested, and they reported that before the sentencing occurred. Now the judge formally sentences Carmelo Anthony up to 35 years. With the jury now dismissed, Judge John Roach told the court, we have to now formally sentence you. Okay, jury made their decision. I'm accepting that decision. I think I have to by law in Texas. But now I have to impose the sentence upon you. And, other things could happen. The judge could say, well, that sentence was illegal, so I'm not going to impose it. They came back like 1,000 years, or they come back and they're like 1 year. No, that's illegal. I'm not going to sentence them to that. So we'll come back and sentence you. Now, Carmelo had been sitting with his head on the table, but stood when the judge asked him to rise. He stood up with his defense attorney, Mike Howard, standing next to him with his hand on his shoulder. Carmelo was looking down when the judge said he was being remanded into the custody of the state to begin sentence. The courtroom was then directed, take your seats. Victim impact statements are now coming down. First person up is Austin's aunt. A woman who identified herself as Austin's aunt was the first person to deliver a statement. She said, my sister did an amazing job raising Austin, Carmelo. And on that day, on April 2nd, the day that he was killed, it's a day that she'll never forget, and neither will I. She said she could still hear the sound of her sister's scream on the other side of the phone, and that it was something she'll never forget. And I know the sound of that scream. It is horrifying. I got that from my own mother, and I will never forget it. She's crying now. The woman said she had the responsibility of telling Austin's grandmother that her firstborn grandson was gone. Carmelo's head continues to be laid down. Austin's aunt said the impact of his death is now permanent. and that they feel his absence at every family event, and there is a void that can never be filled. Yeah, and just think about it. Every Christmas, every birthday, every New Year's, every single Thanksgiving, you're missing somebody at your table that's never coming back. And for what? She said, I will forever miss the remarkable young man Austin was. She said, adding that he babysat her daughters and greeted them with the biggest of bear hugs. Austin's aunt lamented the family will never know what his future could have been. And she said, my heart breaks for his twin brother, Hunter, who now has to live the rest of his entire life with this memory imprinted in his brain of holding his brother bleeding out in his arms dying. One question will always be with me, Carmelo. Why? Why could you not have just left? Why? And so prayers up for Mom specifically and Hunter specifically and the rest of their family, because that takes time to work through. Austin Metcalf's mother now takes the podium. Her name is Megan. She was the second person to deliver a victim impact statement. She said, from the moment my sons were born, they were my entire world, Carmelo. They were two energetic, beautiful souls.
Wow, that's moving pretty good.
Our house is quiet. Now, the only thing I hear at night is crying. She said, seeing my son Hunter lose the most important person in his life crushes me as a mother. And since my son was killed, I've gone to bed at night hoping it was just a horrible nightmare, like I would wake up and it wouldn't be true. And I think about the morning that he died often. I remember making breakfast and how her son Austin was a morning kid, waking up always in a good mood. She said he always got a hug and never realized that it would be the last time that she'd get one from him. And I want to be clear, she says. Austin was the peacemaker. He was the protector. And some of my favorite days were when I would scratch his back and he would just sit there and tell me about his day. Then Mom becomes angry. The tone grows angry. As she said, her conversations were now one-sided. And I'm never going to be able to get to do that again. Now I have to go to his graveside and talk to him there. There was a part of him you can never take from me, Carmelo. The strength I still get from him every day, because I know what it was like to have been loved by him. My son was murdered. He didn't just die. He was taken from us, just as he was starting to live. Now, you may have just been given a sentence of 35 years, but you should feel lucky because I've been sentenced to a life without my son. Mom leaves the witness stand, walks past Carmelo. His head remains down the entire time. Next up is father. Brutal day. Austin's father, Jeff Metcalf, takes the stand. As he's speaking, there's a video slideshow playing in the background, showing photos of Austin and his brother Hunter in the background. He lists all the sports that his son Austin played and said, watching both my sons on the field at the same time was such a blessing. And Austin was a leader, and his teammates looked up to him. And now, what are we going to do? We're going to start a scholarship in honor of Austin so that his legacy can carry on, saying so others can carry on his legacy. He says his faith carried him to heaven. Metcalf says they were robbed of Austin and then tells Carmelo Anthony, he says, Carmelo, don't look down. Look at me. He said, since day one, this was never about race or politics. But what did you choose to do? Both. He said that if this is about right or wrong, that's it. And Anthony, you will face those consequences starting today. If you ask me what my son's death did to me, I would tell you it destroyed the person I used to be. He does not exist anymore. My son's death didn't just break my heart. My faith didn't just broke my heart, my faith in people as well. And during his statement, he pounds the table. Anthony has not looked up at all, won't even look him in the eye. Father says, Anthony, you failed your parents, you failed yourself, and you failed society, and you don't belong in this community. Fourth person to give a statement is the brother, Hunter. Hunter started by asking Carmelo Anthony, he says, will you look up? Will you be respectful to me? You took my brother from me. Can you look me in the eye? Carmelo, who had been looking down this entire time, looked up. Brother Hunter said, for the last year, I've been trying to learn to forgive, and I had been turning to God to understand why his brother had to go. You took a son, you took a brother, you took a friend, my best friend from this world. He's getting emotional. You took someone from me who was supposed to be an uncle, a godfather to my kids. Now I want everything taken from you. Hunter tells Carmelo he wanted him to think about the pain that he causes the Metcalf family every day. He said that he let the devil take him over. Carmelo, you let the devil take you over in that moment, and eventually you'll be forgotten. Brutal. But that his brother's legacy would never be forgotten. He said, my mom at night now cries herself to sleep. I wake up every day with my brother's bedroom door still shut, and that I can't talk to him anymore at all. Hunter then steps down from the witness stand. Friends come up and hug. Family leaves the room. At this moment, the judge instructs Carmelo Anthony, bailiff, remand him into custody, and he's removed from the courtroom. Then the family comes out, and they deliver a press briefing. In the aftermath of this, we have the video right here.
Justice was served. A year ago, the senseless murder unfolded.
Oh, that's crazy.
Struck a deep nerve in Collin County and far beyond.
Sorry for
We
that.
ask our community to ignore all the noise and instead be level-headed and patient as the process worked. And today, the process delivered accountability. We're grateful to this jury. We're grateful that the good citizens of Collin County had an opportunity to weigh in on this case. I'm proud of the exceptional work of Bill Werski and our team of prosecutors, DA investigators, and victim advocates, and all the good and outstanding men and women of the Collin County District Attorney's Office. We thank all the parents and their brave kids who did the right thing. Despite the trauma of witnessing the senseless murder at a school track meet, they cooperated fully and testified truthfully. Their courage was essential to securing justice in this case. I'm especially honored to be joined here today by Jeff and Megan Metcalf and their son Hunter. Their strength and grace through this has been Their strength and grace throughout this unmanageable journey has been inspiring. They won't be taking questions at this time, but their presence here speaks volumes about their commitment to seeking justice for Austin. I want to thank Judge Rhodes for presiding over this trial with fairness and efficiency. I want to thank Frisco PD for their investigation. I want to thank the Collin County Sheriff's Office
That really
Center for providing the security for the courthouse. I want to thank all law enforcement throughout the county for making this a safe trial for everyone. This verdict sends a clear message. Violence like this won't be tolerated in our Collin County community, and we remain committed to protecting our schools and standing with victims and their families. Thank you.
All right, so that largely brings this to a conclusion. Sentence will be effectuated. Their appeal is ongoing. Couple of quick points on that matter. We were brainstorming some ideas that they might lob their appeal towards. First one, obviously, jury selection, a Batson challenge. They will make the argument, no question. I'm sure this will pop up. It's already been pre-suaded into the narrative that there were no race-neutral reasons for striking certain jurors. Now, the trial record that we have in front of us is very light on this point right now. Don't know what the full makeup of the jury panel was. Don't have the transcripts for what the strikes were about, whether they were peremptory strikes or whether they were not, or any of the details. But I expect that challenge to come back up. As any judge and prosecutor would do, I would imagine this was extremely tight. That they've got a bunch of good reasons for the strikes, asked the right questions, and booted them off accordingly. Another area that will likely come up is a stand your ground instruction, saying that there was trial testimony errors that occurred, basically arguing that what the jury was told about self-defense was invalid and that self-defense should have been a stronger legal defense for Carmelo Anthony. And again, I think we fleshed that out pretty extensively here. The sudden passion argument was brand new from yesterday. This would negate the ultimate conviction, but they might argue that there was some error in the instruction to the jury about this. This, of course, would negate the sentence, not negate the element of the crime, so it would minimize the sentence. At a passion type of murder sentence. Anything about change of venue and pretrial publicity, I would imagine, is going to come back up. That there should have been a new trial in a different location, or that the media was talking about this and he was already convicted. I think that's another failure because of the fact that everything was locked down. There was no video. There were protective orders. Everybody was gagged for a full year. You can't. And we're not able to see anything about this trial at all. So the publicity was at a bare minimum. Other people's attempts to appeal their sentences, like Derek Chauvin, all fail on these points. Another one may be about evidentiary rulings, which is about the admissibility of certain evidence. Did the knife photo need to come in? Did the heart photo need to come in? Was it too gruesome? Was it more prejudicial than it was probative? We admitted evidence that was too harmful and not helpful enough, I think will be part of the argument. And again, we don't see any objections in the record. So no objections, as far as we know, were reported by any of the sources that we read. I would imagine that there were a bunch of objections, and so they probably got those lobbed. I could speculate that the defense would make the argument that we already stipulated to the death. Like, we already said that, yeah, he stabbed him. Self-defense is an affirmative defense. We're admitting the conduct. So we don't need an expert witness to come in and talk about the actual bleeding out of the heart. We don't need the photo to show the jury what it looked like because we've already agreed that he killed him. Question is it murder? So there's a rule 403. If it's too harmful and not helpful, you keep it out. If it's more helpful than it is harmful, it's a balancing test, you admit it. So I would imagine that would come back in. And a lot of these, I think, are all related to it. Same 911 call. We already, heard that he was killed. We already admitted those things. So you should not have admitted anything. And then the big one that actually came up here yesterday was this one, which I thought was a very interesting rule that we looked up. What about the opinion evidence of the witnesses? We did see this a lot in the trial record. We saw multiple witnesses saying he murdered him or he provoked him. Carmelo Anthony provoked Austin Metcalf. Was this provocation? Yes. Who was in the wrong? Carmelo was, over and over and over again. And it came up, and I actually looked up the rules over there in Texas. The Texas Rule 704 and their rules of evidence have this articulated as follows. If a witness is testifying, not as an expert, testimony in the form of an opinion is limited to one that is, these are the two requirements, it's got to be rationally based on the witness's perception. And they can talk about what they saw. It also has to be helpful to clearly understanding the witness's testimony or to determining a fact at issue, which, of course, this was. Who was in the wrong? What was your belief of provocation? Does it look like murder to you or not? But then we get into expert witnesses. We don't need to cover that, or expert testimony. But 704, if people were asking this, well, the trial is for murder. So how can witnesses say that I believe this is a murder? Doesn't that call for a legal conclusion? Isn't that speculation? Isn't that an opinion that goes to the merits of the case? Yeah, but in Texas 704, an opinion is not objectionable just because it embraces the ultimate issue. So you're allowed to make those comments. They did repeatedly. I would guess that there were objections over those every single time, or maybe just the first time, and then the judge said, we're going to allow this in as a matter of course. But they talked a lot about it. Even Carmelo Anthony's witness said something very similar. It was wrong. And it's not a legal expert opinion that it was murder. It's got the mens rea and the actus reus and the malice aforethought and all the elements of murder. Quick. It's actually what I believe happened as a layman.
Any estimates
when they'll be out? So I think the appeal is basically dead on arrival. The jury was unequivocal about this. This judge ran a very tight trial, and the appeal will flesh itself out for the foreseeable future. If anything big pops on that, we'll of course cover it, but I doubt that it's going to be all that interesting. Now, the Give, Send, Go, people were also asking about the money because we saw the Carmelo Anthony family had moved into a $900,000 mansion and hired private security. And there's even rumors that there were plastic surgeons who got into this fund and got the mama a nose job or something like that. Don't know if any of that's confirmed, but it wouldn't surprise me. But the Give, Send, Go has now been unpublished. They were making, I took a screenshot of this before they nuked it, and the last amount was $626,000 the day that the sentence came down. They were still donating repeatedly, $5, $10, $20, $50, all going in. They took the Give, Send, Go down, and Phil Holloway over at Phil Holloway ESQ on X, he said, here's the statement from Give, Send, Go. He said, a jury has found Carmelo Anthony is guilty in the death of Austin Metcalf. Our hearts are with Austin's family. This is the same entity that was raising all the money. And everyone grieving a loss that no verdict can undo. They said Give, Send, Go hosted a fundraiser connected to this case. Hosting a fundraiser has never been an endorsement of a person, their actions, their legal arguments, or their public statements. It's not a declaration of innocence. It is not a political statement. It is access to lawful fundraising, which we extend across the full spectrum of cases. This fundraiser was created to support pretrial needs, and those funds were dispersed over the past year for lawful purposes, including legal defense and family relocation. So family relocation into their $900,000 mansion. With the stated purpose now complete, the fundraiser has been closed. Our policy is that a fundraiser's stated purpose, if it stays accurate, and it must stay accurate, so givers always know what they're supporting. Our prayers is for the Austin family, for all those affected, and for justice, mercy, and peace in our community. And they cite the Bible. So that largely brings the activity in this case to a close. And so, of course, we'll keep our eye on it, but sounds like the Austin Metcalf family is feeling a sense of justice. Nothing will ever bring back Austin Metcalf, obviously. But the appeal will make its way through the courts. Very slow, very long process. And the likelihood of anything getting reversed, I think, is dramatically flying up. But you never know. So we'll keep our eye on this. If anything else pops up, we'll be back to cover it. Otherwise, Carmelo Anthony convicted, sentenced 35 years. Maybe we'll have an update in 17 and a half years. So stick around, but we'll leave it there. We'll continue to pray for the Austin Metcalf family. Brutal loss. Hopefully this brings them some semblance of closure. They're going to need a lot of help and support and prayer. So if you're of that variety, please send them to the family, and we'll be back here with more when it's available. All right, so
that's an accident the other way, because there goes.
Now, let's talk about.
There goes the rescue too.
Election fraud, and we're going to California.
He came roaring up behind me, but
shift from a dead.
He hit the turnaround
son
going into the opposite direction. But I was in the left lane, and all of a sudden I saw lights by me. I was like, "Fuck!
Because we got
What did I do? I'm not speeding."
California election scam busted. You see this photograph from the dark horse candidate Nithya Raman, who is handing over a $600,000 check to an organization allegedly connected to the homeless. Damning link with homeless voters. And you add to that this other story from the New York Post saying that homeless people are now claiming that they have been paid to vote for Karen Bass and for Nithya Raman. And that is illegal under U.S. Code Section 597. Whoever makes or offers to make an expenditure to any person, either to vote or to withhold his vote, or to vote for any candidate, and whoever solicits, accepts, or receives any such expenditure in consideration of his vote. So if you pay somebody, you're busted. If you take the money to vote, you're busted. Both of you shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. And if the violation was willful, you shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 2 years or both. And they've got video of these homeless people admitting it. Skid Row homeless claim they've been paid to vote for Karen Bass and for Nithya Rahman. And they admit it openly. And this has been part of our thesis for a long time. You control the list. You can control where the ballots are sent. If it's universal registration, everybody gets a ballot here.
It's a restaurant, Mexican restaurant. So,
and if somebody at the homeless shelter doesn't actually vote that ballot, well, you just open it up and vote for them and sign it. We're going to show you they don't even check the signatures. You can draw a smiley face for all they care in California. So here is this montage of these homeless individuals who are now voting in elections after having been paid to do so illegally in violation of federal law and California law.
And did they come down here and try and pay you to vote?
Yes.
On a ballot?
Yes.
How much they pay you?
$5.
They said, here, come and vote for these candidates?
Yes, sir.
They told you who to vote for? So they told you to vote for Karen Bass or Nithya Rahman?
Karen Bass.
You vote for Karen Bass?
Yeah.
For $5? Did you vote?
Yeah.
You did for Karen Bass?
Yeah.
Karen? They told you to vote for Karen?
Yeah. They had to send a little thing.
And how much they pay you?
Just like $2.
$2? To sign off on a thing to vote for her?
Yeah.
So they say, oh, do you want to vote for Karen or Nithya? Or they just really just tell you to vote for Karen, huh?
They gave you an option of choice, but they tell you who they would choose.
They tell you who you want to vote for. So they go give you $2 and but you got to vote for one of those people.
Well, you know, I'm a barter, man, so I got $4.
And you're like, go give me $4 and I'll do it.
Yeah, well,
so they do this for everybody out here?
Yeah, they come out here all the time.
How often do they come down here?
Probably like 3 times a week.
3 times a week?
Yeah.
To get the ballots?
Yeah.
Wow. And so you know other people too that voted too?
That's anybody's business. You don't.
So multiple election fraud felonies for $2, $4, $5 on both ends. And they're guilty for taking the money to vote. The people who paid them are guilty. And apparently they're 3 to 4 times a week, according to some estimates. So we know that this is happening not only in LA, but very likely all over California and many other locations. Here is what the Post, who did that filming, reporting, said. Thousands of homeless voters were registered to vote in LA shelters, may not even be living there. Spencer Pratt was just nuked out of the election by Nithya Rahman. But now it can be revealed that one drop-in center that received $600,000 from Rahman had registered 185 registered voters at the address, but offers no accommodations at all. So where are the votes coming from? That check went to a homeless facility, and now you see that those homeless are voting for her. The revelations have prompted Bill Esseley to say he's going to investigate this. They're going to follow the evidence. A review of records also shows 7,600 voters tied to homeless shelters and other service providers in general. There's another Nithya voter right there. A couple of more Nithya voters. We have St. Joseph's Center in Venice, a homeless services drop-in center with 185 voters registered. They received $600,000 in taxpayer dollars. Last week, the Post contacted Nithya's campaign and the center seeking comment and sent the photograph to her. But once we talked to her, she took the photograph down from the website. They also talked to this guy, Martin Rowe. Outside a grocery store.
I'm going to do a quick...
He said they ask you all the questions, then they give you a paper.
Raid.
We've got 1,100 registrations at Skid Row at a place called Midnight Mission, but it only has beds for 84 men and 36 women, but they've got 1,100 voters registered there. So ballots go to those locations. Only 84 people and 36 women, men and women, can live there. But there are hundreds more ballots that are going to that location illegally. One homeless man in Skid Row, Norman, said he's witnessed voter registration efforts in the area for years and claims he had previously been paid to help sign up voters and that cigarettes were offered to him in exchange and during the drives. Quote, it was a big push to get a certain area of town registered to vote. Mormon declined to give his last name. He said, I got a pending court case here. I don't want to get in trouble with the law again. He said, they're just doing it because we're here. You see people sitting around, it's just a few lines to sign, and boom, you're registered. Post could not independently verify who provided them or whether the activity was connected to any campaign, any political.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
But the details echo another report from our newspaper. In that case, a woman called from Marina Del Rey agreed to plead guilty to bombshell charges, and she paid homeless people. James O'Keefe got the exclusive on that one, to register to vote in a 20-year scheme tied to a legal petition signature collection. It's not just for this election. They've been doing it for decades.